Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about Destroy All Neighbors, which is a very unique horror comedy by director Josh Forbes, the director of Contracted Phase 2, and as far as I can tell, a bunch of music videos, which is very apt given the premise of this movie.
Yes, yeah, but unlike a lot of movies directed by people who mainly did music videos, this one holds together really well. This one is a movie, not like a bunch of shit that happens.
No, it is not. This is a movie.
Yeah.
This is absolutely a movie. It stars Jonah Ray of MST3K fame and Alex Winter of Bill and Ted fame.
Yeah.
And Freaked fame.
And under a whole lot of makeup.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex Winter plays this like Russian immigrated dude that lives in the same building as Jonah Ray, but
he's like done up like a goddamn troll.
Yeah. He's like a troll Gopnik guy, and he keeps coming up and he has this like ridiculous accent. He keeps going, "Hey Willie!
Yes!
Hey Willie, we party Willie!"
It's Alex Winter at his winterest.
Yes.
to put it mildly. The idea of this movie is you have this guy who is a prog rock artist who's been trying to complete his masterpiece album. But unfortunately, his goddamn neighbors keep getting in the way. Either they're too loud, or they ask him to help them, or he has to go to work.
Yeah.
Which is another factor.
And he's constantly struggling with being a good guy, being an artist, and being responsible, and he's kind of failing at all three of them.
And also, he has severe social anxiety, making all of this, like, even more complex. Impossible. And ultimately, what ends up happening is this leads to him accidentally killing his neighbors one by one. But wait!
There's more.
There's more. And the neighbors, what either may be in his head or are real, appearing to him and haunting him as these gooey undead puppets.
Yeah, you don't know whether these people are real, are ghosts, are demons, or whatever.
The movie never answers that question. Like, you're never sure by the end if they were real or in his head, and that's kind of part of the point.
Yes.
It is a weird movie. It is a unique movie, but I feel like there's a line in the film about prog rock that's very apt for this film. I forget which character says it. It might be the dude he listens to on the tape, says something to the effect of, not everyone's gonna get it, but the right people will.
Yeah, because that was the mantra of MST3K writing.
Yes, 100%. And that absolutely feels like the mantra of the people who made this movie.
Yes.
Because this is not a movie for everyone. This is a movie for a very specific type of person who likes prog rock, gooey puppet horror comedies.
And has a very twisted sense of humor.
A very twisted sense of humor and likes high camp. If you like all those things, this movie's for you. I am that person.
Yeah, me too.
I am 100% that person. This is one of my favorite movies of the year, and no other movie is gonna quite hit the same mark that this movie can because it is so unique. This movie has a lot of really cool practical effects. There's different effects for each of the ghosts because each of them dies in a different way, and each time it's a complete accident. Or is it?
Yeah, you do find yourself going like, is he accidentally killing these people, or
you're not even
on
sure
purpose killing these people?
Because he's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, the world not only has potentially supernatural things in it, everyone in this world is crazy.
Yeah.
Even if there wasn't. Everyone's like got their like quirks and idiocy cranked up to 11.
The most sane person in the entire movie is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Everyone else is up to 11. So yeah, I fucking love this movie, and I cannot recommend it enough. It kind of nails prog rock too. It's more prog metal than prog rock in this, because King Crimson, Pink Floyd, bands like that, they're a lot more chill. Whereas this is like the super elaborate in-your-face prog metal, where it's just like riff after riff and like elaborate fucking like synths. And what I like about it is that the movie is a love letter to prog rock, but it's also the kind of love letter that knows how to poke fun at itself. It knows exactly what someone who loves prog prog rock would say to make fun of prog rock.
Yeah, it's sort of like, we need a bassoon solo, you
Yes.
know, like, you know, shit like that, where you're like, you need a what?
Absolutely. Another movie, weirdly enough, this reminded me of was Joe's Apartment.
Oh, yes.
Just in terms of that kind of like very specific, campy 90s apartment-based weirdness.
Weird apartment humor.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
100%.
And if you don't know Joe's Apartment, that's the one with a guy who lives with a bunch of talking cockroaches.
Absolutely.
It's, I recommend it.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Joe's Apartment. It's
Absolutely.
our apartment too.
That kind of weirdness is all over this movie. Same thing with Freaked. There's a lot of weirdness in Freaked that you can see in this movie.
Yes.
So if you like those two movies, then this is a must-see. From what I understand, the writer of the movie actually based the movie off of his own apartment, and the writing of the movie is the actual project he was trying to complete that made him go crazy. And the neighbors are loosely based on the neighbors he had in his LA apartment.
Oh my God, yeah.
Now, granted, he didn't kill anybody as far as I'm aware.
As far as we're aware, he didn't. You can identify with those moments where you're just like, I'm gonna kill that motherfucker.
And that's the thing. I think if you're a creative, then this movie's gonna speak to you. Like being in the zone and having every little thing that takes you out of the zone irritate you more and more to the point where you just want to strangle somebody. This movie captures that feeling.
Yeah, and you have like the Alex Winter character more than any other is like the intrusive thought demon.
Yes.
You know, he's the one that tells you suck, that you don't do anything good, you know, like nobody loves you.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely. But what I also like about it is also shows the other side of it, showing the girlfriend's perspective of like, come on, man, you've been working on this album for like however many years. You really need to get a job and get out there and pay some rent because I can't be doing this all on my own. I kind of like that the movie isn't completely one-sided.
No. Like, there are times where you are wondering what side the girlfriend is going to fall on. Ultimately.
Yeah. And she does fall on a side by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to predict where this movie goes. There's a point halfway through the movie where I realized I had no idea what was going to happen next. And then we got into the third act. And once we got there, I'm like, okay, this is the only place this movie could have gone, but I would have not have known that until we got here.
Yeah, exactly. You're sitting there going, what the hell? Especially when people start dying.
Yes.
And how quickly the Jonah Ray character just sort of buys into that.
Yep.
And the fact that he's getting like tips on how to do everything from like dissolving a body to burying it from YouTube videos.
This guy he listens to for like guitar
inspiration and advice.
He's watching those videos and then suddenly those videos just start giving him advice of how to get rid of a body. And it's at this point in the movie where you're sitting there going like, what's reality anymore?
Yeah.
I don't even know. And then the movie just progressively gets more surreal and weird and commits to the surreal and weirdness.
Yeah, like in a way, it's not as disgusting as The Greasy Strangler, but The Greasy Strangler does the same thing.
Yeah, The Greasy Strangler 100% does, but it's more coherent than The Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, it's more focused.
There is a cause and effect happening. But yeah, Destroy All Neighbors, it's my favorite movie of the year. It is so fucking weird. It is so fucking unique. It is so fucking tailor-made for someone like me. I just have to love it. It is currently available on Shudder. I believe it is a Shudder original movie, actually, which they've been knocking it out of the park with those. Yep. Hell yeah. But I think you can rent it at other places, and if you can, I would. This is worth a rent. If anything we've said so far sounds like a movie that's up your alley, then you should rent this movie and give it a chance. And so with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoilers, so we can talk about the weirdness of the third act.
Yes.
That we could not predict. So here we go.
The first person that he kills is the Alex Winter character.
Vlad?
Yeah, Vlad. And fucking... Willie! We party, Willie! Come on, Willie! Okay, so he gets killed accidentally through this Rube Goldberg fucking Final Destination series of events involving exercise
because of his
equipment.
fucking, like, jank-ass exercise equipment that looks like he made himself in his fucking apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you're like, I don't know if dude did that on purpose.
Well, yeah, it feels like he's trying to goad him into killing him, right?
Yeah,
like,
because Vlad is like, trying to get him to fight him all the time and shit, and calling him a pussy for not like doing things which are obviously lethal.
He's like literally acting like a troll. Like he's constantly trolling the Jonah Ray character, and you're not quite sure if there's anything genuine in what he's saying most of the time.
Correct.
They make you wonder that up until the very end, and then by the end of the movie, when he has that turn at the last minute, you're like, okay, so you're just a troll to the end. It doesn't actually matter.
He chops Vlad up into a dozen pieces to try to fit him in bags so he can like dispose of the body.
And each one can move independently when he comes back to life, so.
Yeah, the movie world also starts to get really odd because no one seems to be able to piece things together that the main character is involved, but it is comically obvious.
Oh yeah, like all these neighbors keep ending up dead and the cops don't suspect them at all.
Yes, like they have no fucking clue. They have no fucking clue about what's going on until Vlad fucking tips them off to fuck with Willie.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There's kind of this Fight Club aspect to the movie where you're wondering, are the ghosts real? Did he tip himself off? Is Vlad his Fight Club doppelganger?
Yeah.
What this movie ultimately culminates in is he's accidentally killed pretty much his entire apartment complex. At least all the ones we're introduced to in the movie. All the characters we are introduced to. With the exception of his girlfriend. She is not killed. He ends up locking himself in the studio that he works at because his day job during the day is basically doing the engineering for whoever happens to rent out the studio. Locks himself in there, takes the guy he works for hostage, as well as the guy who was recording the album that day.
Yeah, that he was supposed to be working on. Yeah.
Was it Caleb Bang Jansen, narcissistic prick.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all the characters that he has killed up to this point kind of reveal themselves to all be prog rock fans in some way.
Yeah.
One of them even turns out to be the guy he's been listening to on the tape.
Oh my God. That one was...
It's the hobo that was outside the recording studio.
The hobo outside the recording studio. He wants to help, but he doesn't have time or resources.
Yeah, they all decide to form a band and to finish his album together. Fucking Vlad fucks them over by calling the cops on them, and at the end turns into this demon that he must defeat, and the defeating of the demon that he defeats is what becomes the climax of the album.
Yeah.
Because it's a concept album, because it's prog, right?
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like wondering, like, did Vlad help him complete it by doing this, or was that just another troll on Vlad's part?
It's impossible to tell, which I think was part of the point.
Yeah.
You're like, if this guy motivated me through spite, did he technically help me?
I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. It's really hard to tell.
He got whiplashed.
Yeah. There is one character who dies that you're pretty sure Willie's not responsible for. The landlady.
Well, yeah, she dies because he isn't there to help her with the electricity, so she tries to fix it herself and fries herself.
Yeah.
So he's responsible only in his own guilty mind.
Yeah.
But it really isn't his responsibility.
Yeah.
She's the landlord.
Yeah, well, also he keeps warning her.
Yes, he does.
Keeps warning her, like, someone's gonna get fried doing this.
Yes.
So just have an electrician come in and deal with it. And she's also, like, constantly telling him, hey, I got some stuff that might be good for your album, but, like, because that's what everyone says, he ignores her.
Yeah.
But it turns out she was, like, either a member or a groupie of his favorite prog rock band who was made up for the movie.
Yep. Which is, the guy who turns out to be the fucking hobo is the guitarist for that band. So.
Yeah. He was the guy she was, like, sleeping with all the time.
Yep. They even have, like, a little exchange when they're ghosts.
Yes.
But here's the thing. So much of this information is revealed after the characters die, you're still left wondering if that's true or if his brain made it up.
Yes.
The movie doesn't answer that. The movie ends with him going to jail for the murder of pretty much everyone and for the kidnapping of his boss.
Yeah.
But his album ends up winning an Oscar. Not an Oscar, a Grammy.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine an album like that actually winning a Grammy in 2024, but okay.
But whatever.
But that just further leads to the feeling that so much of this movie is in his head. So he ends up in jail and he finishes his album and he did kill these people. So he's like, he's in there for life.
Yeah.
Because of like however many counts of murder that was. I think it's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of murder.
It's quite a few.
And his girlfriend is back on his side and in love with him. And I'm like, is she actually, or is this again in his head? I don't know. It's kind of like Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, you can interpret it in different ways.
It ends in such a way where you could interpret it that, you know, she dies and it is a very sad and tragic ending, but hey, at least she got to see the fairy world before she dies.
Yeah, or like Brazil.
Transfers into the fairy world and gets to join the fairy world and the fairies are real.
Right.
This movie kind of has something like that, but on steroids.
You know how the story concludes, because there's only one way the story concludes and has it be a satisfying story. But the actual series of events you're a little unclear on.
He obviously finished the album. He did go to jail. He did murder people. We know those are real.
Yeah, we're pretty sure that happened.
That's all real. Everything else is up in the air.
But it really doesn't matter as far as watching the movie is concerned.
No, but it kind of almost feels like a wish fulfillment fantasy if you take the it all happened route. Because it's like, oh, he got to finish his album. He got to get the Grammy and he got to kill those annoying ass neighbors and then befriend them in death. Like an undead band.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
One of the things this movie reminds me of is the Cornetto trilogy. A through line in all 3 of those films is in all 3 of those movies, they start off with a premise of a character needing to get over something, only for that thing to be the thing that they actually have to go all in on by the end of the story to win. In a normal story structure, you have like the man-child, right? And then by the end of it, they have to grow up and they have to like, you know, learn to take responsibility. In the Cornetto trilogy, the man-child, being a man-child, saves the day.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, this movie's a lot like that. It's a character who starts off with all these flaws that are pitfalls in the beginning, but by the end of the story, he ends up getting rewarded for them.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. He still goes to jail, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. He still meets his goal.
But that's also true of the Cornetto trilogy, right? Like,
yes.
Like the third one, it's still the apocalypse. You know, there's still zombies in Shaun of the Dead.
But the reason that they survive is because of their perceived character flaw. And it's what allows them to continue until afterwards. Like, it's Sean's friendship with the Nick Frost character that allows everything to come to probably as best a conclusion as it could.
Yeah.
Whereas if he had not been that way, they'd had no shot.
Exactly. It's the thing that everyone at the beginning of the movie tells him he's got to stop.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, it's absolutely the thing that saves the day.
Yeah. Usually at the end of a comedy, the characters have changed, but the world hasn't.
Yeah. Characters usually have to adapt to the world. The world usually doesn't adapt to the characters.
Yeah.
In the Cornetto trilogy, the worlds adapt to the characters.
Yeah, and in this one, the world seems to have actively warped.
Yes.
You know, like...
completely. In a surreal fucking manner.
Yeah, which works really well when we're talking about creativity. At the end of a creative project, you kind of have warped the world to your desire in some way that's extremely meaningful to you, but may not be all that meaningful to anybody else, but can't help but affect people.
And also, like, thematically, because it's about making a prog rock album.
Yeah.
Like a prog rock song, the movie gets progressively more wild.
Yes. One of my favorite, like, more recent prog rock albums, Ziltoid the Omniscient by Devin Townsend.
Oh, it's 100% a prog rock album. Devin Townsend's solo projects are all prog metal or prog rock.
Yeah.
You know, they're in that realm.
Now I'm realizing these guys should do the movie version of Ziltoid the Omniscient.
Oh, man. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. The type of prog rock that he does is very much in the vein that this movie's going for.
Yeah, where it's a goofy idea to begin with that just gets progressively more insane.
Absolutely. So, Destroy All Neighbors. Ask for it by name. I highly recommend it. Where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me here on YouTube. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tuesday and Thursday, I stream also around 7 p.m. on Twitch, where you can find me at Count_Jackula, and I will be playing whatever game I'm doing right now. Right now, as of this recording, I'm playing V Rising, which is the vampire castle builder. It's a little bit like Rust.
Vampire Rust, Vampire Minecraft, Vampire
Minecraft.
kind of games.
Yeah. Like there's fighting, there are monsters, you do fight things. But
It's got more RPG elements than Minecraft, but
Yes. Yeah.
Y'all know me, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go $1 a month, it can go a long way. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below with the hashtag Willy. Use the hashtag Willy. That way I know, that way Jack knows, that way Vlad, wherever he is, knows that you watched this video all the way through. Peace out, everyone.